Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here I have a great article for you guys from Business Wire. I will leave a link to it in the description so you guys could check it out. So I want to give credit where credit is due. And I'll say this is probably the biggest opportunity that T-Mobile has had in a very long time. And I'll explain why I said that. So today we got the Ookla report. We recently got the Open Signal report, and we will very soon get the Root Metrics report. And all of them have something in common. T-Mobile has the largest 5G network and the most capacity out there overall. That's what all three of them will have in common. T-Mobile will be the fastest on all three of those reports. Now, how does T-Mobile translate that into an opportunity, right? A lot of people say speed isn't everything. While that is true, right, you still need speeds for T-Mobile's strategy, for fixed wireless access, and for the mobile side. So you have to have enough capacity on air to be able to handle both, right? Home internet is already deprioritized. So if there's less capacity on air, the home internet experience is going to be garbage. So the capacity driver is it's hugely important for T-Mobile, and I think they have to continue going up. Right? They've kind of stalled, became stagnant. So if you look at Ookla Q1 and Q2, T-Mobile's at 220 megabits. So they haven't really gained any. And I think that could be a little cause for concern, but nothing too crazy. So the fact that T-Mobile has what I would consider the largest 5G base, right? They have the highest percentage of users on a 5G device. They have 80, from what I'm told, like 84, 85% of their traffic now going over the 5G network. And they're still pulling a median downlink of 220 megabits a second on Ookla. And overall, it's like 162. I think that's pretty impressive. Now, hear me out, right? Verizon is at 133. They're doing great too. They have the largest base overall. They support LTE more than 5G right now. Yes, 5G is growing for them as well, but they're still focused on LTE. You can kind of see that in the upgrades. You can see that on the small cells. Some small cells they're deploying, LTE only. So they're still focused on the LTE base because they know that's a very large base for them still. And they're not really focused on the standalone and the voice over NR. T-Mobile has shifted. T-Mobile is really pushing to be an all 5G business. They lost LTE. They want to go big on 5G. Well, here's their opportunity, right? T-Mobile has lacked perception on the networking side for a very long time. 3G, HSPA, LTE, T-Mobile lacked perception. Although they had great value, great pricing, they had great marketing, they started to change the brand perception. People knew about T-Mobile. People acknowledged T-Mobile. They still knew, or they still talked about T-Mobile in a negative manner when it came to network. I hear the comment, "Well, I use T-Mobile." That's saying something. When people say that, it's knocking T-Mobile, right? And now they have the opportunity. T-Mobile has the big opportunity to really change that perception once and for all. And I think right now is kind of that pivot point where they can really pivot that perception in their favor. 2020 was a huge milestone when they closed that merger, but they needed to upgrade the network. They needed to add in the Sprint Keep sites. They needed to expand. And although they still got ways to go, I think right now the network is in a good enough standing that they can really change that perception once and for all. They've already started working towards that, but they have more work to do. A lot more work to do, if you will. But each and every quarter goes by, we get reports like these. They're the fastest. They have the highest phone penetration on 5G. They have 85% usage going over that 5G network. Fixed wireless access is a huge component to that usage. Hundreds of gigabits being used per month. T-Mobile has recently disclosed that they say they average now right around what cable usage is per month. That's huge. And yet they can still do a national median of 220 megabits on 5G. That's impressive. I'll give it to them, right? They have the largest fixed wireless access base. Verizon has a base too, right? But they're still not as big as T-Mobile yet. So, Verizon being at a 133, that's impressive too. Don't get me wrong, that's impressive. We'll see them get faster. But right now, huge opportunity for T-Mobile, I would say. This is the pivot point. The network is bigger. It's at a bigger scale. Still got some room to grow, right? They still got some sites to put up. They still got some retail to distribute. But right now, I think is a very important pivot for T-Mobile to really change that perception once and for all. To have a premium Verizon customer and a premium AT&T customer say, hey, look, T-Mobile's network is not what it used to be. Or, hey, they have my attention. They're changing my perception. I can pay less. Let me go ahead and try them out. That's all T-Mobile needs. That's the one opportunity that T-Mobile needs. And I think right now the network is good enough to get them over that hump, that perception hump. And once those people try it out, I think T-Mobile has the right strategy in place to keep that churn as low as they possibly can. Right? Mike Sievert recently pledged that he wants to have the best churn in the industry, and they won't stop working towards that until they get there. So I'm positive, and I'm speculating here. I'm positive they have more plays in their playbook. I'm sure there's more uncarrier moves planned. Like I said this morning, if fixed wireless access slows down, they have something up their sleeves to pick up that growth again. Rather that be free lines on wireless to get people into the door to sell them fixed wireless access. If it's a promotional offering on fixed wireless itself, they have something up their sleeves to continue those growth patterns. And I think they're well on their way of handling what they need to do. So that's just my thoughts. Again, I give them credit. They have high usage rates now in 5G. They're still maintaining the speeds. Could that be a concern in the future? I made a video about that. I would say yes. They continue growing up, loading up the network at the pace that they are. Eventually, something's got to give. Either they get more spectrum, and that's even beyond Auction 108. Auction 108 is not going to impact a lot of urban core, top 100 markets. That's more white spaces, so that's more rural. So they got to get, I would say, let me put an estimate on it. So they're doing 700,000 to 800,000 a quarter, give or take, right? Maybe they raise guidance for this Q2, so I'll be paying attention to that. If they can do another 5 million postpaid ads in 2024, my God, I think they're going to have to deploy C-band DoD at scale very quickly. I don't think they can wait around too long. The whole talk from Neville that they're going to use that as congestion protection, I think that's out the window. I think they have to attack that very quickly. I think they got to get legacy small cells on board with N41. They got to be as proactive as they can, because as they grow and they pledge to keep their churn the lowest, they're going to have to get really proactive here in very quickly, actually, to offset any congestion issues that they can see within the next 18 months, I would say. They have projection models internally that they look at. They need to be really proactive. And like I said in my tweet recently, I would not be surprised if they start incrementally increasing the CapEx these next few quarters, because they can see what's in the pipeline, right? If they come out in the second quarter, which I'll pay attention to, and they give us a raise and beat quarter, and they raise their guidance for postpaid ads, we know what time it is. That means they're getting ready to grow even bigger, and we really have to pay attention to how they handle that from a networking perspective. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Live. See y'all in the next one. Peace.